What's going on there, guys? We back with another one. And today we got to talk about Coach Prime's Colorado program and his former recruit, Cormani McClain, who spent his first season in Boulder, but transferred out and has landed with the Florida Gators. And it was so much controversy around that last season. When you think about Cormani McClain, people wonder, in some of those blowouts, how bad could Cormani had been for him not to be put out on the field in certain situations? And more is coming out that kind of supports what Coach Prime was saying the entire time. Now we're going to look back at some of the things that was said. We're going to look at what Coach Prime said when he first left, and we're also going to look at what Cormani said after he left. And we're going to look at this disturbing report coming out of Florida, from one of the reporters that's close to the program. This is absolutely what you did not want to happen with Cormani McClain. Even if Coach Prime was right, you would just hope a man that age, a young man that age, would get on the right track and go the extra mile to prove that the narratives that were painted about him were false. But it's coming out, man, that Cormani McClain may be in the doghouse already in Florida. Let's look back on what Coach Prime said first before we move forward. Let's peep it.
Like, is Cormani ready yet?
No. The plan at corner is cornerback committee. That's why we practice. We're going to see who steps up and takes over that role.
What's holding Cormani back at this point?
He is.
Coach Sean Keeler at the Denver Post. You mentioned last week that Cormani seeing the field was up to Cormani. I wonder if you could elaborate on what you want to see him do, one. And two, did he help his case?
Study, prepare.
Late against
Study,
Oregon?
prepare, be on time for meetings. Show up to the darn meetings. Understand what we're doing as a scheme. Want to play this game. Desire to play this game. Desire to be the best in this game. At practice, in the film room, and on your own, free time. You do know that I check film time for each player upon the week. Thursday, I need film times from the whole staff so I can see who's been preparing. And that's just not about Cormani. That's about a multitude of them. So if I don't see that, you would be a fool to put somebody out there and they're unprepared. Can't do it. Won't do it. Can't do it.
Okay, so that's just some of the comments he made about Cormani McClain during the season. Now, this is after the transfer. This is what he said and then what Cormani said.
Man, we all right. What happens with the portal, man, and you guys need to know, a lot of people are fighting for backups. When a guy's a starter and he transfers, you got to really think about that. I mean, is he really that? I don't know how many starters have really transferred around the country. I think we got some coming in from visits pretty soon, maybe even this weekend. But we can attract those type of players, but I don't think we're losing those type of players. And if we do, we're good. We're good. Quit making a big deal out of nothing.
Hi, Coach Adam.
God, I want to say so much stuff, but I can't. God, I want to say so much stuff. I keep remembering my head coach.
Change the narrative of everyone's thinking on my name. Be a part of a real and a great program that's going to impact me at my best ability. And yeah, ready to get to a new place and get to work. Yeah, I feel like I just don't want to play for the Clips. I actually want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. With that being said, that'll wrap up all the questions asked from you guys.
So if you didn't know what was going on last season, now you kind of got an idea of what was going on with Coach Prime and Cormani McClain throughout the year. It looked like Coach Prime kind of wanted the best for him, and Cormani wasn't participating to the level that he should, and showing that he really wanted it. And so we didn't really know what was true based off of how people were trying to paint Coach Prime, Cormani being an immature kid. Nobody was in the locker room. But that did kind of stick with him because Coach Prime is the adult in the room and he is the coach. So now we look at what this well-known staffer had to say on 3 Sports when talking about Cormani McClain and his time at Florida at this point. And I got a lot to say about this, but we're going to read what was said. This is why we're here today. I was told that Cormani McClain has been late to most of the requirements, and this includes meetings, lifts, etc. The way that it is handled is sort of like a strike system. Essentially, you get a warning, Then you have to do extra run lift. He's in the weight gain program, so we would have to do extra lifting, which he showed up late to as well. They started to make the defense and then the rest of the team do these extra lifts, thinking that would get Cormani to show up on time, and it hasn't. You're not going to be light in a locker room if your tardiness, immaturity is causing the rest of the team to have to run. Goes to what I said about him when Florida took a flyer on him. Just immature, needs to grow up. And so you have that narrative coming out, and then you have someone else who covers the program closely saying that what I will say is Cormani McClain better grow up and fast. He's in the doghouse. He came to Gainesville with a shorter leash than the average athlete. Since his arrival, that leash has shrunk. He needs to figure things out ASAP. But again, he has not been kicked off the team, and that was some rumors that he had been kicked off the team. He was addressing right there. And what I'm going to say, man, Cormani McClain, anybody that's listening to this that's been on any team, I'm going to use basketball as an example. You have somebody loafing in practice, or, even something like missing free throws at the end of practice when you're tired. You could get on the suicide line on the baseline, and you have to run suicides until the person makes both free throws to end the practice. Um, we used to get mad, about that when people would miss two free throws. But something like talking or joking around while plays are being run or something like that, it would really infuriate the teammates, and it could be some trouble in the locker room, just depending on the person and why they're doing it, right? So Cormani McClain has his whole team lifting. This is going to cut into your time to do your school assignments. This is going to cut into everything. And it's all because you're always tardy. Now, if you have something going on with your family, you got to let people know. But when it follows you and this type of reputation continues to follow you, um, it's not going to get good from here, because with this being your problem, I don't think you're going to be able to transfer to a third high major. The next step will probably be somewhere like Coach Prime and them came from. And there's nothing wrong with going to a HBCU. I think that's phenomenal. And if he could go there and get what he needs, it would be absolutely stellar. And I would be down for it. I just don't want him to go under these terms, because this work ethic, you're going to, even if you transfer down to that level, you would end up getting beat out by somebody that's hungry at that level, participating in the workouts, eating the right things, studying, attending study hall, team meetings, lifting extra because they want to be that great. What are you doing? Are you partying on campus? Are you too close to home at this point? He had originally committed to Miami, and then he went to Colorado, and he almost looks like the poster child of like not being loyal to Miami and jumping on the new hot thing with Colorado. Uh, Showed up and expected them to just fawn over him and put him right in the game, and let him start. But what Coach Prime is saying is, when you get out there with those Wolves in a Power 4, Power 5 conference, I don't know if it's Power 4, Power 5 now with all this conference realignment. That's why I said that. But you get out there with those Wolves, they're going to eat you alive if you haven't prepared. And that goes beyond just your physical ability. You have to know what plays is being run. You got to know where you need to be on the field at all time, where your coverages is. Um, and Cormani was not, by all sources that's coming out talking about it, he wasn't interested in that. He was interested in showing up thinking Colorado in rebuild, they got to play me, and didn't go as hard as he needed to. And so he was trying to say that these were just narratives put out there about him. I'm going to get on him a little bit for this. When that narrative is out there about your name, when you go to your next program, you have to go over and beyond to prove that those things were either one, not true, or two, a former version of you that no longer exists. I'm bought all in. I'm bringing my A game every day. And I ain't talking about just the games. I'm talking about to team meetings. I'm lending my expertise while lending my listening ears and soaking in as much knowledge as I can about the game, lifting smart, you know, and really just off the field and away from the team, making smart decisions, having a good circle, everything that it entails. Because he wants to be a professional athlete. Going at this rate, even if he just had, let's just say he had otherworldly talent, you could put him out there and he could play at the college level. It would catch up at the NFL level in a bad way if he doesn't make football his number one thing that he's on campus for outside of them books. And it looks like Cormani McClain, by all signs and all indications, is looking like he has other agendas at times. I don't get not showing up or being tardy to things all the time, like the sun rises and sets on you. That's a very selfish approach. And if you get kicked out of Florida, I'm gonna say this: you may not even go to like a HBCU right away, or like a low major D1 school, or a low major PWI. You may end up at a JUCO, and you'll be in for a rude awakening there too, because there will be other talents like you looking to get back in Power Five. Some of them that have matured, and now you got to fight for that. Sometimes you go down to JUCO, it'd be more talent at your position than at the Power Five you would have been at, because they're in a similar situation as you, or they're late bloomers and they're really hungry for it. I can't understand for the life of me why this young man can't show up to team meetings. So I think, man, with this report coming out, we all owe Coach Prime somewhat of an apology if you weren't believing him. Now, me, I just kind of sat back and I was like, where there's smoke, there's fire, but I couldn't really gauge it completely based off of like the mixed signals they was giving it. But Coach Prime was like really going to bat for him and saying he wishing the best for him. His mom was sticking with Coach Prime and said she believed in him, and then they pulled him out of school. And he was even there during the summer. But man, you got to grow up and be a man and take accountability. Don't let nobody else dictate the things that you can control by you not controlling the controllable. This dude is, I just don't know what to say, man. Let me know what you think in the comments about Cormani McClain, though. You think this young bull gonna bounce back, man? I ain't even gonna give the negative option. I just want to know, man, is he gonna bounce back? Because he's gonna find out very soon that you 2 3 years removed away from your high school glory and all that, nobody cares no more. If you ain't performing at the level, the next one is coming, and it's gonna be a wrap for you. But man, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.